craziest thing you've seen a parent do to protect their child? When I was working as a night shift nurse at a children's hospital, we had this 8-year-old cancer patient whose mother was a former Navy SEAL. The little girl had been fighting leukemia for 2 years and was finally in remission, but her immune system was completely destroyed from chemotherapy. Even a common cold could kill her within hours. Her mother had converted their home into a sterile environment and personally trained every family member on contamination protocols. The nightmare started with our new head of pediatrics, Dr. Richards. This guy was old school, arrogant, believing that modern parents coddle their sick children too much. He openly mocked the detailed care instructions the mother had provided, calling them military paranoia from an overprotective helicopter mom. Despite clear orders from the oncology team about strict isolation protocols, he started making unauthorized changes to her treatment plan. The disaster happened during a routine follow-up visit on a Friday morning. The mother had specifically requested that only trained staff handle her daughter, but Dr. Richards deliberately assigned a student intern who'd been working with infectious patients all week. When the mother questioned this, he laughed and said, "Your daughter needs to build immunity naturally, not live in a bubble forever." Within an hour of the intern's examination, the little girl spiked a 104-degree fever. Her temperature was climbing rapidly as her compromised immune system went into overdrive fighting an infection. The mother immediately demanded emergency protocols, but Dr. Richards locked her from the room, claiming she was interfering with medical procedures and threatened to call security. As the child's condition deteriorated, turning pale and struggling to breathe, the mother tried to push past him to reach her daughter. Dr. Richards grabbed her arm and sneered, "This is what happens when you raise weak children. She needs to fight this naturally instead of depending on mommy's protection." That's when something snapped. This woman had survived 3 combat deployments and lost teammates to enemy fire. She grabbed Dr. Richards by his collar, slammed him against the wall, and said with ice-cold precision, "You contaminated my dying child and are now blocking me from saving her life. Move or I will move you." When he tried to call security, she zip-tied his hands with medical tubing and locked him in a supply closet. Then she burst into her daughter's room, immediately starting emergency cooling protocols while screaming for the oncology team. The attending physicians rushed in and confirmed the child was going into septic shock from a preventable infection. After 12 hours of intensive care, her daughter stabilized, but the mother wasn't done. She'd recorded everything on her phone and had already contacted the state medical board, the hospital administration, and her lawyer. The investigation revealed Dr. Richards had been ignoring isolation protocols for multiple immunocompromised children, potentially exposing dozens of vulnerable patients to life-threatening infections. But here's what made it legendary. She used her military connections to have his case reviewed by federal medical oversight committees. Within 6 months, Dr. Richards lost his medical license, was banned from practicing in 3 states, and faced criminal charges for child endangerment. The mother now runs a nonprofit training medical staff on immunocompromised patient care, making sure no other parent watches their child nearly die from medical arrogance.